If you could have any superpower, what would it be? If somebody goes, I wish I had the ability to be invisible, I immediately think, thief, pervert, right? I need to find a nemesis, because if I'm going to be a hero, I need to find an enemy, right? Batman isn't Batman if there isn't a Joker. So where's my Joker? It didn't take long. Chef Tom.
That's Joe Conto, live on stage in Saranac Lake in 2017. And on today's episode, there's no Batman without the Joker, no Superman without Lex Luthor, and no X-Men without Magneto. So suit up, choose your superpower. This is the Howl Podcast. I'm Ethan Shanty. I was doing some quick research about the most desired superpowers in America. And I can't say how scientific this is, but this website was telling me that there are just 2 superpowers that people want above all else. The first one is to teleport, and the second is the ability to heal yourself and others. I don't think there's really a bigger divide there, right? Like, teleporting is this self-serving power. You want to be able to visit Hawaii overnight but not have to spend a ton of time and money on a plane ticket. You want to be able to drop in and visit your favorite Mexican restaurant in Arizona so you don't have to settle for the same boring old pizza place at home. But that other one, to heal people, well, that's an altruistic power, isn't it? To see someone in pain and to be able to stop it, to save their lives. It says a lot about your character, I suppose, the superpower that you'd choose. Superheroes are a reflection of the ills and evils of a given time, right? The X-Men were created at the height of the civil rights movement. Superman exists because a pair of Jewish storytellers were watching the rise of fascism. Superheroes are meant to fight back against injustices of the world. Their superpowers always serve that end. So when I read that survey that most people want to either heal or to teleport, it got me thinking about the superpower that I dreamed of as a kid. I wanted to fly. And what good does that really do for me or the world around me? I don't know that I'm an especially angry driver, but I certainly think everyone on the road is a hell of a lot dumber than I am, so flying would help there. And yeah, it would be cool to be able to fly over this beautiful, big, scary country and see it from a different perspective. You know, bird's eye view and all that. But does it help people? Does it make the world a better place if I can fly? As I'm reflecting on it, I think that desire to fly comes from all the anxiety that I felt growing up. Am I handsome enough? Am I smart enough? Am I talented enough? Will I make enough money? It seems to me that none of that matters if you can fly, if you don't have to be down on earth with the normal people. But now that I'm older, I do think it's time to choose a new superpower. So I think, honestly, I'm going to choose Batman because he's rich and I've got student loans. All right, fine. I guess it would be cool to heal people or whatever. Anyway, today's story is about exactly that. And as Joe Conto will tell us, what good is a superhero without a supervillain? Here's Joe, live on stage in Saranac Lake in 2017.
Okay, so I tried to ruin a man's life. Let's start there. I often ask people a question that I heard one time that I found interesting. I asked them, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? And the answer is very telling. If somebody goes, I wish I had the ability to be invisible, I immediately think, thief, pervert, right? But if they say, I wish I could fly, I feel like somehow more noble. So I started to ask a follow-up question. What would you do with this superpower? Predictably, the invisible people would say, oh, I want to shoplift and see people naked. But interestingly, the flying people were just as shallow. They were like, I want to go to Paris for lunch, or I just want to fly. And I thought to myself, this is weird. Nobody ever says, I want to help people, right? This is the purpose of a superpower. And it's also weird because I've got a hero thing, you know, where I would like to swoop in at the last minute and save everything. And also, I want to have a tragic origin story, right, that drove me to this. Like if I'm on an airplane and I'm in the emergency row and the flight attendant comes up and says, are you willing to open the door, and et cetera, et cetera. I look them right in the eye and I say, not only am I willing, I am able. I will put on my thing before assisting the person with me. I know where everything is. Don't worry, right? I'm ready. Okay, remember that about me when I ruin someone's life. Okay. 1997, I'm on my way to Florida because I've got a job for the winter working at the Jupiter Island Club. And anybody in the Northeast knows that when you're a kid growing up here, that you think of Florida and you think, Florida, right? Oh, Florida. And then you get there and you're like, oh, Florida, you know? There's like an orange crate blowing around on the highway. And you're like, well, all right, I can make this happen. But beyond Florida, there's this little bridge that goes to Jupiter Island. And on Jupiter Island, there's the Jupiter Island Club. And just think, did you ever see like a glass, like a gin and tonic sitting on a table with a lime and a little rivulet just going down the side of the glass? And it's delicious and you can't wait. That's the Jupiter Island Club. And I get to be a waiter there, right? Now, admittedly, the Jupiter Island Club is basically just a bunch of white people. Is all it really is. And they're kind of awful white people, like not white people like I'm white people, but like stark raving white, you know, like that kind of white people. And they're all there on an island. Now that I think about it, okay, so I get right to work. I need to find a nemesis because if I'm going to be a hero, I need to find an enemy, right? Batman isn't Batman if there isn't a Joker. So where's my Joker? It didn't take long. Chef Tom. He's the perfect nemesis. He's this little, like a fire plug, you know, kind of a person. And he's arrogant, and he's loud, and he's mean to waitresses. And like he threw potato salad at a busboy, and I didn't think that was cool. So I was like, good, got it. I am going to save the Jupiter. I'm going to save the white people from Chef Tom, right? Now, I am a hero, but I'm also a coward, so I can't just, you know, get in there. I have to go around the back way. Here's the thing. If you ever want to ruin somebody's life, find their weakness. A weakness is typically one of the 7 deadly sins, strangely. And for Chef Tom, it was definitely pride. I got it. Okay, I played with his pride. The physical manifestation of his pride was this tallow swan he had created. Do you know what tallow is? It's like, I don't know what it is. It's like rendered beef fat that you can then make stuff out of. White people. So, and he would carve, and he carved it. And then they would cart it out for every event, like every food and beverage event. There would be this centerpiece, this swan made out of tallow. And he loved it. And so I thought, that's it. If I can change his mind about that, I can change Tom. So it got carted out, and somebody goes, oh, and here is the tallow swan. And I go, oh, looks like a buttered duck to me. Burn, right? But then I stuck with it, and it became part of the culture of the resort. Like, when I saw him walking by and it was out there, like, for Sunday brunch, I would take a roll and pretend I was taking some, go, delicious buttered duck, Tom, you know. And everybody else started using it. Like if you dropped a dish, people would go, oh, buttered duck. Like, it became a thing. So my plan was working, right? So, okay, real quick. I'm going to ask you to say butter duck 4 times in a row and say it real fast, and you can understand why it became a thing. It is really fun. On the count of 3, please do this with me. 1, 2, 3. Butter duck, butter duck, duck, butter duck, butter duck, butter duck. Right? You don't want to stop, right? Butter duck. Okay. It's the end of the season. And I still haven't really, I kept the lid on things, but I haven't really ruined Chef Tom yet. They're having a theme party because white folks love a theme. And it was 1997, and they were going to have a Titanic theme party because that was what was the big blockbuster at the movie theater. And what better way to celebrate the end of summer than the Titanic? All the waiters were in costume from the period. And when people come in, we're supposed to hand them a life preserver because that's hilarious. And my name tag says Seamus O'Malley. And I go, I don't think the Irish did so good on the Titanic. I'm going to be floating on a door by the end of this. And but we're setting up for it. They cart out the buttered duck, right? And they put it on this table. I don't know if anybody has ever worked a banquet or anything before, but those banquet tables have these legs that you put out and you have to secure them or they're very wobbly. I did not set up that table. It's important you know that. But I didn't check either. And somebody was putting a lot of plates at this end because it was a buffet table and the butter duck's down here. At one point, it's like the straw that broke the camel's back, too many plates. That side of the table kind of dropped and the butter duck launched. And you guys, for a minute, it looked like it was in flight. And it was beautiful. But then it all came crashing down and it sort of shattered into like, I don't know, tallow doesn't shatter, but it was not good. And so just at that, Chef Tom comes out the door and it's like he's there and the butter duck's back here and I'm here and I go, okay. And he goes, what happened? Where? And I move to the left. He goes, where's it? And I go, move to the right. I got it. I go, shh, Tom, listen. It's still butter. But it's not a duck anymore. And I felt triumphant, right? I had ruined his life. I ruined the butter duck. But then here's what happened. I looked at him, and his eyes looked young. But not young like vibrant and I can take on the world, but young like I can get hurt real easy. Did you ever see a zombie movie where your friend turns into a zombie and you're the one who has to kill him? But right before you kill them, you look into their eyes and you can tell, like a werewolf movie too, and you can tell the humanity that was once there before they became a zombie. Do you know what I'm talking about? I saw that in Chef Tom. And all of a sudden I realized, oh my God, in his story that he's living, I'm the Joker, right? He's Batman. I'm the Joker. And I thought to myself, he's got an origin story too. And everybody's writing their own story. And we all think we're Batman, but we're somebody's Joker. And that person's origin story is way darker than anything we can imagine. Thank you.
Thanks to Joe for his story, and thanks to you for tuning in. You can let me know what superpower you would choose by sending me an email, ethan@ncpr.org. The Howl is a co-production of NCPR and the Adirondack Center for Writing in Saranac Lake. You can find out more about ACW by visiting our website. The Howl production team includes me. I'm Ethan Shanty. I write, produce, and edit the program. Doyle Dean is our production manager. Bill Hanel is our director of digital services. Caitlin Kelly handles our social media, and David Summerstein is our script editor. Our theme music on this episode and every episode is by famous letter writer of Plattsburgh. To support this show and find out when we're going to be telling stories in your town, visit ncpr.org/howl. Coming up on next week's episode.
And the young feminists in us were like, no, I'm not doing that. Why? No, I'm not doing that. I'm not making everyone lunch. That's stupid. And we look at each other and we don't say anything. We just continually plucked a hair from our heads and strategically placed them in each one of the burgers.
For North Country Public Radio, I'm Ethan Shanty. This is NCPR.